Uh, Actually, I received a message from the internet provider 2 minutes before our connection. So I didn't see it. I just see it now
Oh,
because it stopped. And so in 1558, so we should start at 16.
okay.
They began the maintenance on the
Okay.
internet.
Did they finish?
They say it can last approximately 3 hours. So it's like there is a spirit who doesn't want us to speak. Because
No, no.
you see, there are different types of spirits, right? There are spirits who like to give advice and help people, and there are spirits who are a bit naughty, and they try to sometimes even manipulate the system, you know. So
Yes.
they just make like children, you know. You have children, so you have experienced how those spirits act frivolous. Can I say like that? So please, spirit, not spirit, let us speak.
They're
uh,
testing us or
yeah,
something.
yes. So we were speaking about the reflection of this idea of the birth and how we should see the bird as something that as a collective we need to like take it as something very positive. And this is not just about a baby being born, but even a child beginning school,
Yes.
a person who began to give service for the first time. The colleagues, they like embrace the person, not who is this guy, who is she, from where this
Yes.
came. And there are, you know, this sometimes happens to certain places that instead of uh, trying to bring the community together, they separate the people who were here and the people who came here. And this you can see it from now the immigration. You know, you should be in Africa, not in Malta, right? So your place is in Africa. Go
Mhm.
to Africa, and that is wrong because we are not embracing the diversity of this garden
Yes.
because we are part of the whole garden, and we cannot see that it should be the flowers has to be all white or all black. White and black and mixed with all the colors in the world are just one garden, and that is Earth. So this is something that even though it started with the birth of a child, it's about the beginning of something. And this question arises, are we embracing the beginnings of whatever it is, whoever he is or she is? Are we embracing change? And this is something that we sometimes are stuck because we are speak about traditions being lost, and eventually we are also discussing about change. So do you want to change these traditions or not? There are ideas that some things need to change and some things need to evolve, but not change. They need to evolve.
Mhm.
So I don't know where you want to speak, in what sector you want to speak right now. I know there are many. There are many.
Not thought about this from the, I'd not thought about it from the angle of new beginnings.
Yes.
Because if every time we went into, like you said, into a school and you were received like that, I mean, school would be amazing. Every time we went into a new office, we went to a new place, because we're always so nervous about new things. We're always so nervous about new places. What will they think of me? You know, we all want to be liked. We all want to be welcomed. We all want to be appreciated. And we worry that we might not be. And what these cultures did was that they just said, when a baby is born, it is something worth celebrating. And they celebrated. So if we carried that anywhere, we would no longer be afraid. We would no longer be afraid of new things, because you feel like I'm welcome, I belong, I can ask anyone because of how I have been received. So those things, I mean, it was very important. It's like when there's a marriage, when the woman came from her family to the man's family, it was such a joyful celebration of the entire family that you immediately felt like, okay, I have allies already. I'm being pampered, and it's fine. I'm going to be okay. So it would really play a big role in life generally. Instead, we always prepare for the worst and expect the worst and try and protect ourselves from the worst. People always say, well, you never know who you're going to find there, so just go in and be cautious. What does cautious mean? It means look out for the bad people. Look out for anyone who's negative. So naturally, when you go in with a bias that there's going to be someone negative. Maybe I'm not going to fit in. So I really like that angle, that this just used to, that it took that. If the entire village has accepted and celebrated this child, if at 7 years of age the child is becoming a nuisance, how does that village turn away from the child? They cannot. They cannot, because they all participated in bringing the child to earth, and they baptized the child with all their good blessings. So that is the village child, through and through.
Wow. I what I wrote here is looking with generous eyes. And that is what we need to do. We need to look with generous eyes, with loving eyes, with all the virtues of God, right? And when we see the others, not as the others, but as the part of myself.
Extensions of us.
And then we can go, who am I, right? But it's interesting now that whatever happens to you happens to me. So I don't want you that eventually whatever I wish for myself, I wish for you. So if when you think about anxiety and fear and worry, and this is something that we feel it because we feel something that we are not comfortable of. And maybe it's not about the present, maybe the past is coming for us. Because last time I began in a new job, for example, there was always this group of people that were like looking at me in a very strange eye contact, that who is this? So, and because the people sometimes they don't accept someone entering into the community. It's like
Yes.
there is like a pack of wolves, and when another group, another wolf from another group come in this group, then the wolves will become, who is this wolf? So
Yeah.
this is an animal instinct, but we are not animals, right?
No, we're not.
We can be animals, we can act like them, but eventually we are an updated version of animals. We are a human being. So why we sometimes let this animal instinct flow?
Yeah.
And we cannot detach ourselves literally because we have this survival instinct of the animals. So it's entangled with our spirit. It's not something that we can let go absolutely. Can you absolutely leave your animal instinct?
No.
You know, if,
No.
if if you leave yourself hungry for many days, you will know.
Yes. Yes. I think the animal instinct is important for us to even to survive. Like there's a thing about it, like it just we're sort of more aware. I don't know if it's because the animal is like it cannot speak. So some of its other instincts are very sharp. Okay. So we sense better and we guard ourselves and so on and so forth with this animal instinct. However, that that whole pack of wolves, another wolf comes in, and then there's a growling and all that. That is from a place of being insecure. Yeah, there is an insecurity about it. Just 1 minute. I need to get the light switched on.
Okay. I
I'm
can
about
see
to
you.
be engulfed.
I can see you well. So I don't know about.
No, just the backlight.
Okay, but you are very very visible. Good.
Okay, this is fine. This is fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, so I was saying the animal instinct, if it's like a protection, like with so the animals will feel like the other animal is a threat. Like, what are you coming to take? And if there are animals that live in groups in packs, those animals will know that the one that is normally moving on its own either has been kicked out of its pack, or that means that it could pose a potential danger, or maybe it's lost, so they don't know and they want to just be sure that it is not one of those ones. Whereas for human beings, that should not be our first place. Our first should be love, and to say, if this person is alone and is coming in, how can we make them feel as comfortable as possible? How can we make them feel as welcome as possible? They cannot possibly be coming to, always take, unless they come in as a threat. But if a new child comes to a school, for example, why don't we all deliberately get up, receive this person and welcome them, show them around the school and so on and so forth? Because that puts their guard down, puts our guard down. Sometimes if someone even has bad intentions, you confuse them like that, because they're like, okay, people have been nice to me. Uh, I should be nice back. So I think, and I think it is something that we are taught. We are taught to fear one another. I believe strongly that as children, for the most part, children are very open to everyone. You know, we're happy to see anyone who comes into the house. You know, children ordinarily are happy, but when we start, when you see the way of the world today, so you want to protect the children, you're like, don't talk to strangers, don't let so and so in, don't do this, don't do this. You know, be careful everywhere you go. There's so much caution that we are giving that we start to be cautious of everyone who we don't know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
someone comes to our space, we're like, are they good or are they bad? And that eye that you give them makes them think, oh, they looked at me in a strange way. Yeah, so everyone is bouncing off each other until sometimes the thing that we fear manifests, because anyway, that's the energy we've been putting out. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's a lot of confusion.
Mamma mia. And yes, yes, yes. And you know, I as a father, this idea of don't, don't. I prefer do, do, and do.
Yes. Yes.
The person, it's better to be instructed what to do instead what not to do.
Yes.
A
Yes.
childish mind, you know what to do? Whatever you say. So if you say, don't do that, the child will do that. Because
Always.
you mentioned what the instruction, they don't understand. They see, so don't touch that vase. So they see vase. Okay, I touch.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so instead of saying don't touch that vase, tell them, what can I touch? This bottle. Touch that bottle. And that is very much important to instruct, whether it's a child or a mature person, what to do instead what not to do. Because this is a simple instruction. Instead of going to the negative, you go to the positive.
The positive.
It's very simple. And if I may speak about the animal instinct, I see a childish mentality, a selfish ego, a protection of me and just me, because I'm a child and I need support, total support. Don't let me alone. Don't leave me alone here. I want to be with someone.
Yes.
So my daughter will always say, don't leave me alone. So when I see animals, I see children. And that's why I don't eat them. I don't eat them. So when I see the animal spirit, it's like a very selfish child. And by nature, if they aren't like that in the wild, they will not survive. So if the baby doesn't cry and always me, where, the mother or the father doesn't go and pick him up. Never. Because I think the baby is okay. He is very calm, no problem.
Yes.
We can sleep. And then eventually he can die hungry. Doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. So it's important to cry. So this is something that we grow up, but eventually the age, the numbers go up, but the mentality remains the same.
Yes. Yes. So true. So true.
And that is not this is not about the numbers. At 18, you can drive or you can work, whatever. The numbers are there for a reference. Eventually, I feel that maturity is based on experience. And the more sometimes painful and suffering your life is, the more mature you will become.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if
That's
you, yeah,
what I feel. Every seemingly negative experience we go through, is, it's like sharpening us. And I always say, if we don't stop and look at that experience as growth, then that is when we get stuck. Okay. And when you get stuck, imagine if you're supposed to go through a door and you get to the door and you just don't move. And there are more people coming behind you. They're saying, it's time to go, and you don't go. And you don't go. And you stay at that door for so long. Eventually, you start to lose your mind, because you say, I need to go to the other side, but I can't go. I like to use the example of a shoe. You get a shoe, you love your shoe, you wear it. As you grow, you start to get uncomfortable in the shoe. And the shoe gets tighter and tighter until you realize that, you know what? I cannot wear this shoe anymore. The shoe is now causing me pain. The growth in my body is causing me pain because I can't fit in these shoes anymore. So I have to get uncomfortable. Either the pain in the foot or the discomfort of going to look for another nice pair of shoes, then the discomfort of taking money from your pocket and paying for another pair of shoes, and then starting a new life in a bigger size shoe. Maybe you were a 6, now you're wearing 7. It's comfortable, maybe a bit loose until you grow into it and so on. So if you refuse to change your shoes, then you get stuck. The shoe is not the problem. The shoe is not the problem. It's just that you're ready to go to the next size, but you're stuck, So every seemingly negative situation, I believe, is teaching us something, and is teaching us a lesson that we are going to need to tap into in our next level. You need some of these, lessons to help you go through something more challenging.
So can I ask you this? Can we see all the negative experiences as something good?
Can we?
Can we look at the negative experiences, all of them, as something good?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. But I try to. And this started for me when I lost my brother. And this is actually, I think that comment that connected us on Facebook, eventually I talked a bit about when my brother died. Mm-hmm. I was devastated beyond measure. I was devastated. And I remember the feeling for me was like lying down and just saying, you know what, God, I'm so angry, but I'm so powerless because you are God. You've taken my brother, you've stripped me of someone who I loved so much. So you can do with me as you please. Like if you want to kill me, if you want to do, it's now up to you because you're the boss. You're literally the boss, and I don't know what else to do. And somebody said to me, God is going to use this situation for good. And I was like, how can death be used for good? Today, I can tell you that probably everything that's good in my life today, I attribute to my brother leaving. And I have never wanted him to come back for a minute, because coming back would mean I don't have what I have now. His role in who I am today involved him leaving me. And since then, I even say to myself that my precious, precious children have been loaned to me. And I don't know what their ultimate journey is. I don't know what their ultimate path is, because my job was to be the vessel through which they were coming to live. And if I can give them love, if they can give me love, if we can have so much time together, I would be so grateful. But if our path is that we will not be together for long, I want whatever little time to be precious. And for them to know that should anything happen, it is exactly what it's supposed to be. And it gives me so much joy and so much, it fills me with love when I think about things like that. So any situation that is negative today, I go back and I say, I'm suffering so much, God. I'm suffering so much. What are you polishing me for? What are you polishing me for? Just give me the strength to go through and show me why I am being polished. It doesn't matter how difficult it is.
Wow. My God. Jerry.
Yes.
Jerry. I think you never lost your brother. I think you never lost your brother.
No, I did not.
Your brother, thanks to his passing, he was more with you in a spiritual sense.
Yes.
And he guided you as part of the spirit guide, and you followed because it was your choice. He suggested and you received.
Yeah.
And you acted upon. So if I may state like that, if he didn't pass, maybe you will be stuck where you were in that moment.
Yes.
And thanks to his passing, you realize. And you are still on realization.
Yes, absolutely.
Because he's still helping you together with others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so crazy. It was so crazy, but it was like, because you see, I keep saying, if I pray, for example, for one thing, and I think as human beings, we forget. We put things in little boxes, and then we forget that we are a whole person. So I come from a country where we are very religious, for example. And people pray about everything and anything. And one minute, someone will say, I'm so grateful that God has allowed the electricity to stay on up to this time. Okay. And, because I had a very important Zoom with Alex, I really wanted to speak, and electricity was going to go off. I'm so glad that God allowed the electricity to stay on. And then maybe I will pour water in, on my laptop later. And people will say, oh, the devil did that. And I'm always like, but God was with you a moment ago. Did he leave? And when he left and turned his back, did the devil then take advantage? It's not possible. God is with us every time, all the time. So if he's with us every time, all the time, does that mean that he watched us spill water on the laptop so that we can learn a lesson? Could that possibly be it? My children, the way that I raised my children was, I would say, do not climb up there. And, they kind of come down and giggle a bit, then they climb again. And they climb again. So I would say to myself, please fall down so that you can understand why I did not want you to climb. And I would let them, as long as it wasn't too dangerous, I would watch them, they fall down, and I will go to them and say, do you know why you fell? It's because you climbed up, it's dangerous, and so on. So they were learning a lot of things through experience, not talking, and not allowing them. So what if God is saying, I want you to learn what fire feels like, so that tomorrow, when there's a fire somewhere while you're sleeping, you feel the heat and you will know. So today I will let you burn yourself so that tomorrow you are more alert. Now, we can say the fire that burnt me today was bad. It wasn't bad. It was just fire. It was just fire. And now I know what fire feels like.
Wow.
It's hard though. It's really hard because some situations, some situations, I explode. I get so mad. But I'm telling you, I have to come back and say, okay, what was that about?
Yeah.
Where are we going with this? Was it necessary for me to behave the way that I did? Yeah.
I want to ask you a powerful question about the lesson. The lessons. If you think about not just the present, not just in our life, in a spiritual idea that once we pass this body, we are in the spirit world and eventually we'll pass on. And maybe we'll live again and we'll pass on again.
Yes.
So, if I may ask you, why are we learning these lessons for? Ultimately, why are we learning the fire and then that eventually burns and it follows by all the lessons that it will come throughout our lives, simple or hard? Why are we learning? For what? To what? To where?
Yeah. Yeah. Alex, that's a great question. Because I've been asking myself that. I used to think this existence is just a sick joke, you know? It's just a sick joke for us to keep suffering. I mean, to what end? To what end? And then I thought, ask the question, and it just did not make sense until I heard that we are all fragments of God. We are all fragments of Source. We are all fragments of all that there is, experiencing ourselves. And it frustrated me so much. I was like, so I'm just suffering like this for God to experience Himself. And then I remember that I am God. I am a fragment of God that has decided to experience myself. So it's my fault. I chose this. I chose this so that I can know. And then it would bug me so much. I say, I cannot blame anyone. I wanted this. It's just that. So this is my thought. So when we are on the other side, we're like children who are excited. Like, okay, so how did I do? How did I do? Yeah, you did well. You missed this. Well, you did not quite come out of the situation. You got so angry and you stayed there, and and that round ended. So when you're watching the screen, you're like, okay, like again, I did not get it. No, I really have to get it. Okay, I'm going to go back. Just give me some time. Let me just cool off completely and relax. Then when I go back, I will get it. So then you come back and you start off as a baby. And as a baby, the way that the earth works, the physical earth that has contrast and all the things, the way that it works is that that soul, that spirit, that is fully mature. Like it just is. It doesn't, there's no spirit that is a baby or, you know. So the spirit as it is now inside this baby. And the baby has to grow from nothing to 1 day, to 1 year, to 5 years. And in the process, the baby is blank and is learning new things, the fire, the everything. And we all, because we choose the families that we come into before we come, we choose the family that is going to help us learn. We choose the family that uses fire when we want to learn fire, not the one that uses a microwave and all these electronics. So you choose a family that uses fire, so that at a young age, you are burnt by the fire. And when you're burnt by the fire, because your experience in the future may involve fire, so you need that lesson from the formative years, whatever trauma it is that you go through in those early years is going to inform your life in the future. Only that when we get to the future, sometimes we are so wrapped up in the construct of this world that we cannot remember that we are here for a purpose. We're just going through the motions, so that when something else happens to us, we say, it has triggered me, and now I remember a trauma from when I was young, and I am traumatized. I am sick. I am mentally ill. Now I need tablets. I don't want to go back to it. I need to see a therapist, and so on and so forth. We forget that it is there for a purpose, to elevate us. And so it's really to learn to go back, and then you know. And in all these situations, they never happen to just us. Either somebody burnt you or burns you, okay? And so after they have burnt you and they have caused you the trauma, is there a way for you to view the world and that person as a mirror reflection of you, to say, whatever you have done to me, what is my role in this relationship, and how are we connected? Because what happens to me today, for example, is in all situations, when someone does something to me, I get so upset, but I always stop and I say, how could they do something like that to me? Is there a pain in their life that causes them to feel so much fear that they have to hurt me before I hurt them? They think I'm going to hurt them, so they want to hurt me first. They want to protect themselves by putting me down. They want to protect themselves by rubbishing me, for example, okay? And when I see it from their perspective, it diminishes the pain of what they have done. And I just feel like I want to hug them. Now I want to love them, because I see them as that could very easily be me. I could do the same thing if I'm threatened. And now I want to support them in some way, to let them get out of that place of fear or pain. And sometimes I cannot. So the best thing for me to do sometimes is to forgive them and send them love. And I feel that makes me feel lighter and happier, and like my heart grows, and the love that I have from that experience, the love grows and allows me to love another person. And so the lesson from the fire, at the end of the day, translates to love. at the end of the day, when I learned that thing, then I just love myself so much. And if I love myself, then I love the person who has participated in teaching me. Because now they're not a bad person. They're just the teacher. They're carrying the heavy burden of having to do something bad to me so that I can learn. They're not a bad person. So this is how I've struggled with it. And right now, I like this. I like that they're just part of my journey. They're part of my lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And the things they do
Mm-hmm.
are part of it.
Yeah, what came to my mind while you were speaking was this: whatever we give is what we expect. So if we give respect, we expect respect.
Yes.
So it is a reflection of what we need.
Yes.
So this is something that once you identify this concept, everybody works like that. Whatever the person do, expects from the other to do. Because it doesn't make sense if it's the opposite. It would be crazy. But so why a person should treat you like that? What he is expecting. He wants to give love, so he expects love. So why he is giving torture, for example? Why is he giving something that is negative when you give him positive? So it is something that it's a bit twisted, because sometimes the mind is manipulated. Today that I believe more in the spirits, I actually study them.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And I see that there are, when you think about the devil and the angel, it's not about, there is no devil, there is no angel in self.
I agree.
There are spirits who want to help you in a way or another. Because whoever instructs you to kill, you don't understand, but they want to help you in their own way. Kill him. And that's how war begins. Kill him before he kills you, maybe. So yes. So it's something that you accept that invitation, and yes, I think you're right. I am going to kill him. So, but then there is the other way. No, don't kill him, because he will try to kill you back. And if you kill him, maybe his brother will come and he will kill you. And if you kill the brother, the sister, the father, whatever, the country will come. Ultimately, you will be dead, die there. So there are all the examples in the world of the history. So all the people who thought they were kings, emperors, whatever, they all died with the sword, with their own way of doing. So what you give is what you eventually you will receive as well. It's something that also you said about we choose our destiny. It's like we predicted the future. But actually, if you believe in the spirits, and I say if because there are people who don't, the spirits are always observing us. So when the spirit observes that these people, like the father or the mother, are using the fire, so maybe their life is with fire, so they choose these parents because they need to learn with fire. as you said. But they didn't predict, they saw the present actions that the parents do, and they chose accordingly. So this is not science fiction. This is something that even though our body passes away, the spirit still observes and sees what we think it doesn't. And actually, if I may continue with the spirits, because I love this subject, and I think you love it too, and we can learn together.
Yes.
Actually, the spirit is not inside, but he, if I may say he, is entangled with the body. So it's not actually, there is no inside. Actually, every day, the spirit goes out.
Yes.
And it flows because the spirit doesn't need to sleep. And while the body is resting, the spirit continues. Like the mind. We think about the mind, it's still always boom, 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 boom. And the same is the spirit, always boom, boom, boom. Wants to learn these lessons. And there is also something else. The lessons sometimes, the spirit want to give advice. Instead of receiving, I am giving. And sometimes in my dreams, because I follow my dreams, just recently I dreamt of a dream, let's say. And actually I was in this dream. I was like on a bicycle, and I was in a very wide road where there were hills, there was the sea. It wasn't Malta for sure, but it was very real. I felt the wind, I felt the traction, I felt that we are going fast. And I was telling, please stop, and reduce the speed. And there was a moment, and actually it's like I reduced the speed and I didn't fall, I didn't crash. And the adventure continued, and then I woke up. And I felt it was so real. And I said, I was driving a bicycle in America. I don't know why. And what I believe, maybe it's a bit strange to digest it, but I believe that as a spirit, we cannot drive a bicycle, right? So this is nonsense. But we can actually be so close to the person who is driving the bicycle, and we can actually speak to him in a mind connection, that we can give a suggestion what to do. And this is not something that we can do it after life, after the passing. We can do it even in this body. So especially when we are asleep, we are asleep, we go and we flow in different places. And what I feel is my power is empathy. And I felt so empathic with this person, with the spirit, that I confused myself with him. But I wasn't him. I was so much near him, like in his face, that I saw him as me. And I thought I was driving. So this is something that once I studied and believed this concept of the spirit, actually this is something amazing, and we should not be afraid of death. We will never die. With
Yeah,
this body,
absolutely.
this body, this body dies, actually will be liberated.
Yes, yes.
We can actually say we can be happy in a way that we can do go further distances. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
I call it the speed of thought.
The speed of thought.
Speed of thought, like this. So
Think it
think,
and you're there.
think, and I am here.
Yes,
So think about your brother.
yes,
He's there.
yes.
He's here. So that is
Yeah.
how this works, and it's
I think that's
very
how it
yes, please.
right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's how it works on the other side. And so I struggle with dreams. For a long time, I always said I do not dream. And then I learned that I actually dream and I don't remember. Now I've come so far that every night I dream, it's long, it's deep, it's different dreams. And when I wake up,
Wow.
like is a sheet of translucent glass that I'm trying to look through. I can see the dream on the other side. I can see another dream, but I can never remember.
Wow.
Like I am so close. Sometimes I can remember aspects of the dream, and I say, I was outside, I was riding, I was playing with this one, I was cooking, but I know that I was cooking, but I cannot remember. I can't quite clearly see where I was cooking. Oh my God, it's so frustrating. But I feel like I need to work on it. Like I feel like I'm so close. There's got to be something that I can do to unlock whatever it is that is stopping me from see, because I even wake up and I feel the emotion of the dream. Some days I feel so happy. Sometimes I feel so empowered. And I know it's from the dream. I can almost remember. Like it's so close, it's so frustrating. And I just, sometimes I just let it go. But
Yeah.
I think that there is something happening there. There's a growth that has happened that I need to support.
And I'm thinking of something that what if we are meant to forget? Like we struggle to remember the dream, but maybe we should not remember. It is our nature
To want to know.
to want to know, but actually the nature doesn't, because we actually forget. So why we are forgetting? Is it maybe the dream is not for us, but
Mm,
for them? Is it
mm,
maybe when we dream, we give, and when we are awake, we receive? And what we receive, we need, and what we give, we give. We don't need. So that's why we forget. Why we should keep this data that is nonsense?
remember.
Why should we remember something that it has been given? And that's it. It's not for us, it's for them. So maybe we should not be frustrated not to remember, because we should not.
I like that, Alex. I like that very much because when I get frustrated because I can't remember, even the good feeling that I had starts to go away. So I'm telling myself, I have to remember, I have to remember. The few times that I've remembered, it makes absolutely no sense. Like it's so senseless. And I'm like, what? It just doesn't make sense. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's enough for me to know that I had a beautiful dream. Maybe I went to a beautiful place.
Yeah. I think,
And
yeah,
whatever happens that good is good.
what we
And I
need to,
should wake up and go out knowing that it's good.
yes, and what you are helping me to understand is this, that what we need to remember is the feeling.
Yes.
So if the feeling is good, that is it. Keep it. That is yours.
Yes. Yes.
So whatever advice you gave through that dream to that person, you saved him.
Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
saved whatever it is. Does it make
Yes.
sense that there was this bike and you saved him from falling? No. The idea is you saved him, whatever it was.
Yes.
And when
Yes.
you feel bad, actually you should not feel bad. You will feel sad.
Yes.
Sad because you gave the advice and the person didn't accept it.
Didn't take it.
And maybe he made a mistake, or maybe I don't believe in mistake, but a choice that
Yeah.
led him to so much suffering.
Yeah.
So we need to remember the feeling. No pressure in seeing the actual story, image, colors, whatever. There are many books to identify the dreams, but I
Yes.
believe that the feeling is the summary of the dream.
Yes. 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 And I love the feeling. I love the feeling always.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, but I want to know, where is it coming from? Like, what is it? What am I missing? I'm not missing anything. I'm actually not missing anything. I have the sum total of the experiences in my heart, you know? I have everything in my heart. Oh, this is so good because then I'm not going to be stressed anymore. This is so good.
Wow, wow. When you study the spirits, so
So
much
good. I love
beauty,
it.
so much beauty. And you know, I study the spirits that I am continuing to study because there are so many things to know. I don't know if you know about uh, the French guy Kardec.
No.
See that, and you will be amazed. So it's he is about it's about a science person who is actually a teacher, and there were these uh, floating tables speaking to the people, and he was said, no nonsense, it's magnetic. And eventually, to summarize, he went there and the spirits spoke to mediums that were around the table, and they were telling truth according to him. And after uh, he decided to make like science, blend science with the spirits, and he made 3 books. So he wrote questions from a scientific mind and an answer from the spirits. You can believe, you cannot. That is your choice. But the answers are incredible. It's something that it's it's like a child learning something very new. And the point, the greatest limitation is the language. The language that they don't speak in English, they speak with emotions, with feelings. So whatever you feel, they feel, and they speak with like that. So it's that you need to translate that feeling, and that is how words are spoken to through these emotions. And this is something very, very much interesting that they even speak about people who are mentally sick, because you said about mental health example. like people with somnambulism and epilepsy, people
Yeah.
with coma.
So for
Uh, uh, Actually, the body has a disability. The instrument has a disability, but the spirit is there trying to communicate, but it cannot. It's something
yeah.
very much interesting to know that actually every living being, whether he's able to communicate or not, there is a spirit trying to communicate. And that is very, very much good. Uh, I want to ask you something uh, about this, unless you have a question.
No, I have no question.
Okay. So I am shifting a bit because I am into plants and traditional practices. And when I think about Africa, there is this word who some people are afraid of, voodoo.
What's that?
Voodoo.
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 Yeah, that's kind of like witchcraft, right?
What can you tell me about that?
So, in my quest to understand me and understand um, me as an African, of course, if I was going to go back to my roots, I decided that there were certain things that we were told are bad, yet they're the very essence of who we are. And I used to say, so when God created us, for all the years of our existence, we are supposed to have been doing something bad until religion came and saved us. Is it possible that God let us continue until somebody came to teach us the right way? And in teaching us the right way, they say, do away with everything that was yours. Were we doing something bad all this time? And if we were, why did God allow us to live? And so I wanted to know. So I started asking myself, what do I really know about what I'm being told is bad? I realized I know nothing. So I started asking people, what is it? I started picking some of the traditional practices. And the first one that I learned about is the one I spoke to you about. When I was really at the start of this quest, I told you I went to see my uncle and he explained about, I don't know how he even got to that topic, because he said, I just started learning about frequency and vibration. And someone had said, when you play the drums have a healing vibration. And then I realized that all African ceremonies had a drum. The drum was always so significant in African culture. And today I started asking for, so if you hear somebody sounding the drum in their compound at night, what would you think? They say, oh, of course they would be doing witchcraft. I said, why do you think the drum is witchcraft? It's just a drum. So my uncle then out of the blue says, when a baby was born, the baby was put in a pot, a big pot, and then a big drum was sounded over the baby. And he said it would take away that, like the fear that would make the child, get scared for nothing. And I thought, they are balancing that child's vibration or the frequency around the child so that the child is more stable. When they grow up, they are more balanced. So I thought, okay, this is the drum. This is a practice that would be frowned upon in the present day. So it led me to ask a bit more. So I went to my village and I asked, on the way to the village, we went to the market, a proper market, a modern market. And as we were walking through, we happened to see a section that sold a lot of African craft, not craft things,
Handcraft.
things that are used in what you would call voodoo or witchcraft. And I was like, oh my God, this is the universe that has led us here. So my sister and I went to the sellers and we started asking questions. So what does this do? Oh, this has, this one, everything they said you use for protection. If you want to protect yourself, your business, your family, whatever, everything was protection. I said, but why are you protecting yourself? Who's trying to attack you always? They said, oh, people have bad hearts and so on. So we start asking. In fact, I have a lot of them here. This is one of them. So I picked a lot of items that I brought home. But while we sat there, a lot of people would come to buy things. And I would ask them, I would explain, I'll say, what, I'm trying to come back to my roots. I'm trying to understand, this whole African thing. So what are you buying? What are you going to use it for? And one lady, I remember, said her sister would always get some sort of demonic attack, and they were very strong Christians. They would go to church and pray, and this demon or evil spirit would be removed. But on their way back home, it would come back. So they went to a traditional healer who told them that means that spirit is supposed to be with her. So the healer said, we need to buy her some, like traditional medicine things so that he can do some work on her, calm her down, and then he can help bring that spirit up so that it can work with her and help her. I was so blown away. I was so blown away because, number one, they were very religious. And two, they were able to identify that when church fails, go to the traditional healer. And the traditional healer was able to say, if it keeps coming back, then it could be an ancestral spirit that needs to work with her or through her. So we have to ask that spirit, why are you here? Are you here because you need to work, or are you here because you need to be released? I thought, wow. Wow.
Incredible.
Wow.
You are making me remember a story, actually a real story. There were people who trying to communicate with the spirits in a scientific way, like with technology, ESP and whatever. And actually there was this phenomena that there were seeing women, and they were girls, and they were getting afraid, of course, because this is something out of this world. But to just summarize, after they retried and trying to decodify what they were saying, because they had all the instruments that they needed to use the frequency, and actually these women were stuck in that place. So whoever comes in that place, they will tell them, that person killed me. Stop him. He's still there, killing people. And once the information that these spirits needed to share went into reality, literally to the police station, and they took this guy and put him in prison, they then released themselves. So the spirits, we are afraid of them because we don't understand. We are the same like the wolves seeing a wolf coming out of the pack. This is an external source. This is not part of me. I don't know what it is. I am afraid of it. Go away. But eventually, the spirits are part of us as well. They are calling for help. And it doesn't mean they are in the spirit world. It means they are better. We can help them from this physical dimension.
Yes.
They are not superior, at least not all of them, but we can be superior to them. Superior in sense of helping them to release. So this is something that we need to understand, that through certain instruments, maybe technological in way of instrument of metal or plastic, there could be instruments like you showed me now. Whatever it's the artisan way, let's say. So whatever the instrument is, to help you communicate.
Yes, absolutely.
It's good. One thing that I studied that I would love to share with you: the spirits laugh at us. The spirits that are the higher consciousness spirits. They laugh, they smile, because we don't need this instrument. The instrument is the spirit, the soul. That is the instrument. You don't need nothing. No chick, chick, chick. No ba, ba, ba. No. That is only something more tangible that we believe. You know, I believe this is something. But once we focus that we, as a soul, we are the instrument. We are what we need. We need nothing. This is something that we project, that we need something, but we need nothing. We need ourselves to communicate with them. That is just that. So it is, you know, if you think about all the talismans and all these, you know, these artifacts that protect, they are all fiction. They don't. Not even the cross, they don't. The water that is purified, whatever, with the affirmations of the spirit, it doesn't. It's just all in the mind.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
It's not me. I am just passing the message through.
It is because so I did the whole rosary, cross, water, salt. I used to go to a place to pray and then we'd come. So my aunt and my sister would go and they would come back with holy water. And it was so precious. So I went with them one time. I thought the holy water used to be collected from like a holy well or a holy tap. Until I went and the priest said, lift up the things that you have come with that you want to be blessed. So if you have a bottle of mineral water, you literally lift it up and he would speak all of like 5 words. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I bless all these things, and you know, and that's it. Yeah. I looked around like, wait a minute. Is that it? Is that it? Is that what he does to make my water now holy water? But I lifted my handbag. Does that mean my handbag is now a holy handbag? Is my mobile phone now holy because I lifted it as well? So I started thinking, my brain is choosing what to call holy and what to not call holy because I put everything up, including my mobile phone. Yet, when I use that water, I'm able to see. I had an incident one time that was really bad, and I had to use that water, and the water worked like magic. And after that, I came back and I said, if that water worked, my mobile phone should be magic. My handbag should be magic. So how come my phone is not bringing me magic money and magic things? It's because my mind is giving power to the situation in which I am using the water.
And actually, this is scientifically proven. It's scientifically proven. Sorry, because I interrupt you. It's scientifically proven. The placebo and the nocebo.
Yes. Yes.
And this is done on every pharmaceutical drug that you take inside. There are a group of people who take something like a sugar pill, and there are people who literally take the drug. And there are people who took the sugar pill and they healed. Why? Because the mind accepted that sugar pill as the drug that will heal them.
And so it healed, the body healed.
Yes. So
I learned. Yeah, I learned. I stopped even the whole, you need a medium, you need the priest, you need a pastor. I said, but what is he doing? He's speaking with his mouth. I can speak and I will be heard. In fact, I can speak with my own heart. Yeah. And when I said I can do that, I think God wanted to show me. So my daughter got sick. And when we went to the doctor, they said she was suffering from scarlet fever. And I was like, scarlet fever? They gave me, they said, just watch out in 3 weeks. If she has joint pain and thing, it means it has now affected her heart. In 3 days, she started getting joint pain. And it's supposed to move. I called the doctor. The doctor was freaking out and said, we have to take her, you have to rush her to do blood tests and also to check her heart because I think her heart has been affected. I mean, my head was spinning. I called my friend that I pray with. She was not available. I called my priest. Instead, he blasted me about something. I called a lady that I pray with. She said, I will pray for you tomorrow. I called 5 people and they were not available. So I just thought, okay. I said to God, I pray, I come to you in my authority as the vessel through which you chose to bring this child to this earth. Hear me, heal my child. And, I prayed. The next day, instead of going to see the heart specialist, I had really bad tests, really, really bad. There were 3 different tests, very, very bad that the doctor was freaking out. So instead of going to do the heart test, I decided to go and run those 3 tests again. And at the children's clinic, they said, you're not supposed to come here. We've already made arrangements for you at the lab to test the heart. I said, yes, but I need to run these tests before I go. Alex, all 3 tests came back clean. They were cleaner than clean. And the doctor who was there, when I showed the 2 results, she said, I think they made a mistake. I said, with 3 tests, that was my first miracle that I hold myself. And that's when I knew that, we have the power. We really have the power.
Once you understand how miracles work, the miracle is not a miracle. It's it's an understanding.
Yes.
So you understood how it works. In fact, I don't know, in the Bible, it says that you should not contact any mediums and stay away from these people. But it doesn't tell you not to speak directly. You should actually, that is your purpose. Because some people may misguide you. Because the guidance may be for them, not for you. And they tell you that is yours, but actually it's theirs. So that is why sometimes going to a medium is wrong, but being is good.
Yes, yes. And I say to people, so if you've gone to a medium, they have a role to play. First of all, in making us understand that it is possible. All these priests and everything, when I went, I said it is possible. But he cannot be the only one in the country. That's impossible. And what happens to people who cannot come to him? Does that mean that God has left them without help? So then I said, when you see it, you come back and understand that you and that medium are the same. So where is yours? And then you find it. So I'm always like, you can go to the medium. Don't get stuck there. Go there, believe that it's possible. See them do it because they already know how to use the gift, and then come home and develop yours.
Yeah. Wow. And actually, you are reminding me how I got into this. Actually, what you said is it's perfect. It's very beautiful because the mind wants to know, like, in a certain logical way, and you think, okay, I'm going to this medium and this medium will give me the answer, but the answer is hidden. That I will tell you more clearer the story. Actually, I was trying to find a medium, and this medium, I didn't want to find any whatever medium. I wanted really to vibrate with me. And after many meditations and seeing the pictures and looking at them and understanding if I am vibrating with them or not, eventually I vibrated with one. And I was following her, and then I decided to speak with her. And when I connected with her, told me, okay, who do you want to speak with? I told her, I want to speak with you. I could speak with a spirit because she was like the spirit guide and she has the connection. Now I have the key to open the door. But I told her, no, the key is for you. I want to open your door. I am here to speak with that spirit, you. In that moment, because actually I paid for this session, she told me, okay, no problem. You can speak to me, but it's like you are wasting the time. You can speak to the spirit. But why should you speak to me? And I was telling her and asking her questions about the spirit world, how she feels. And we finished without speaking to any spirit apart her. And I spent a year. Actually, she became like a friend for me. And I said, she is my activation. And the idea that she taught me was what all I needed is to believe that the spirits exist. It doesn't mean you need to speak with one. Actually, you need to believe without speaking from another person. You need to speak directly, or else it will not work.
Yes.
And once you speak with one, others will come. Others will come. And sometimes
because you're open.
Yes, you're open. And sometimes I say, like, please, no, today I'm a bit I'm a bit tired. Please go, please go, please go. Not today. So
I
uh,
go, they go. Yeah,
and I excuse myself, and but in the eyes of certain people, you see that I think this man is crazy. You know.
I know. Love that. I love that. I'm always like, yes, yes, I'm crazy. I love that. But it really people's curiosity also.
And it's so it and the feeling of understanding this idea that we are going to become.
Yeah.
Just recently, my aunt was dying with cancer, and I said, you know, I'm going to help her. The spirits told me you need to go and help her, and I told them what I'm going to do, and they told me prepare her as if she is going to get married, and I did, and I really she was on a bed, she was suffering in a way, but still speaking and smiling. Actually, I managed to help her smile. And when you understand that the preparation, now we are going in that on the other side. We begin with birth, and now we go to the passing of death. That is not, we are not going away. We are changing
Oh,
this form. So don't be afraid. It's like, you know, when we were going to get married, I was afraid. I was excited. There was a euphoria of feelings. I believe you have the experience too. Everybody
yes.
has this experience. So is it bad? No, I'm a human being. It's important that you feel. That is what makes the difference. You feel and you don't feel the feeling. So the same when we are feeling that is coming, it's like we are going to marry this guy or this girl. And that's how it's supposed to be. Not like, I don't want to marry him. And no, you said yes from the
Mm.
beginning that you were born.
To marry this person.
When you were born, you married death.
Yes. Yes.
Because once there is a start, there is a beginning and there is an ending.
Mm.
So you said yes from the beginning. You chosen that from the day you were born.
Yes.
That is your yes. Now
Yes.
you are afraid.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. I love these meditations
Absolutely.
with you.
It actually has been so good, Alex. So, so
Yes,
good.
I
So,
would love to continue, but I think it's not long enough for the people
yeah,
especially.
long.
But I really feel that this helped us to go somewhere else,
Yes, it does.
a step forward.
Yes, it does.
I hope it will serve to the other people who are listening or seeing.
I hope
So
so too.
if they want to reach you out, Jerry, you have a website or where to reach you and whatever they can contact you.
Yes. Social media, Jerry, that's Gerry, Opoka, that's Opoka on Facebook and Instagram. I'm I'm more a dinosaur Facebook person. I need to do more Instagram. But just those, and then WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is +256 772 212
Wow.
WhatsApp is my best friend. So yeah,
Yeah.
and I would love to speak. I mean, this is so good because I'm able to say things that are in my head and speak with someone who's not going to think I'm crazy. But what's even more special is that we really are thinking the same things, and yet we are on completely separate, parts of the planet, looking
But
at it from our different perspectives, and it's the same. And it's the same. So this is really good. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much for finding me that day. Thank you so much for continuing to, like, because I was like, I don't know who he is. You continue to like my posts and make comments like, oh, remember, this is the guy from, the Gaia group. And here we are today. I'm so grateful, very, very grateful.
and I am too, because you gave us your time, your precious time, one of the most, let's say, or the only for me, thing that matters, you know, matters. But, and you were giving to me. This is the greatest gift for accepting my
Thank you.
invitation to speak about the unknown.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know why I spoke to you? Because we need more people like you. And at least in my circle, there are few, but very few, that can speak like that. So we needed to connect from another continent
Yes.
to find this person.
Yes.
And I believe there are more waiting.
Yes. To connect.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So please, if you are one of them, whatever the number of years passed from this video, contact us, okay? And tell us that eventually this video led to you, and whatever happens, I believe surely something beautiful will happen after. Thank you very much, Jerry. I hope we can continue on whatever it happens.
No, we will. We will. And when I have anything interesting to talk about, I'm the one who will be reaching out to you now.
Yes. Yeah, it's both ways. It's not about, I think we both will connect. It's how the
Yes.
spirit works. So
Yes.
it's not about now you're next. It's the timing. Sometimes it's not logical. It depends on whatever the need is. So I can contact you again myself.
I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right then, bye.